Alrighty, y'all. So PRYDWEN put out the rankings for Moran. A lot of you guys spamming me. Talking about they posted it, so check it out. Probably will be either this one or the next few ones. Will probably be the last one I ever do of reacting to PRYDWEN's tier list, right? And there will be more information on that in a future video, right? I'm just waiting for things to come out because I have new plans, right? Still Nikke related, of course, but that's just a heads up for this, right? So let's take a look at Moran's review, right? In our tier list, before we even, I haven't seen anything, thank goodness, but let's take a look, right? For us, we ranked Moran in A, right? A was her average. I do think she's a lot better than I initially gave her. Like, I thought she was gonna be like maybe a B to D tier character, but she's a really, you know, I could give her high B. I think she's probably from that mid A to like high B range. But let's take a look what they give her, right? So yeah, okay, let's just check out their pros and cons rankings first, and then we'll take a look at other things like the teams here. Wow, okay, they gave her A in high deficit, B in low deficit. Oh, they changed that as well. It used to be early and like late. So late game, I guess they gave her A. Early game, they gave her B. Boss solos, they gave her A. Boss ads, they gave her A. SS in PvP, which is very good. I'm glad they gave her SS in PvP because she's actually very good in all these content, right? A is going to obviously be her average, and I think that's right. I think A is exactly, that's where we put her. I think A is exactly the tier she belongs in, right? And a lot of people are like, whoa, Moran in A? Well, I've seen some people say, Moran in A, you guys are taking a piss. That's not right. Moran is not an A tier unit. I'm telling you guys. You guys, I think, especially for my comment section, like, it's hard to like have you guys understand. And I mean no disrespect, but I'm just saying how I see it, right? Like, I would do a video, for example, my train video. I did a video. Let me not yap. Let me yap real quick. I did a train video, and in the showcase, I seen comments saying, oh, you use the like people who are hitting hard with DPS, and that's not what the point of her showcase was. It was to see how well she can tank, right? The thing is, her second skill, which is the HP thing, only procs 3 times, and that's that. So once it goes off 3 times, there's no more point like to tanking it, right? So I showed you guys that. A lot of people didn't get it, a lot of people did, but yeah, let's take a look at the pros and cons and we'll break it down. So respectable tanking ability. I think respectable. I think she's one of the better tanks we have, right? I would say good tanks are Nero if you have her with Rapunzel, Noah in PvP, Ludmilla in certain, it depends. Like Ludmilla, it depends. I feel like maybe not. I feel like it depends. Tia is pretty good, Blanc is pretty good, Senti's pretty good when it comes to that tanking, right? But I think she's pretty good when it comes to tanking, right? There's that. Great pair for Guillotine in PvE because she has no heals and she can you know, obviously tank and all that stuff. So there's that as well, right? Possesses long taunt, synergizes well with Biscuit in PvP. I showed that as well in my video. Last bullet taunt is controllable, obviously, since it's the last bullet. Soft counter to AoEs in PvP. Soft counter to AoEs in PvP. In terms of like, okay, in terms of what? In terms of like her being paired up with, because she gives like damage reduction to all allies. So is that what they're, in terms of what? I'm thinking of multiple situations. Probably the damage reduction, right? Life steals with Summer and Nieces buff allows her to recover some HP hack. I think they meant the word back there, but we'll see. Right? And then cons, cannot cover during burst skill. It is a problem, but at the same time, it's not, because I don't think she's dying. Unless you're fighting something that's just guaranteed one-shotting, right? But if you're not, then I don't think it's a problem, right? I mean, it's obviously still a con, of course, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's only, I feel like it's only bad if you're going to get one-shotted during the burst skill phase. But if you're fighting something, like I said, something that's not one-shotting you, it should be fine. Can die to one shot if an opponent rapture or Nikke PvP does enough damage to reduce her HP from I guess 20 to 0% instant, right? Or not even 20, like anything over 20 to like thing. Mind you, just because that's why I think a character like Blanc is a good pair for her, because you guaranteed to have indomitability during the burst skill, right? So if you are in the burst skill and they have a guaranteed one shot, not only is she going to be tanking, but she's guaranteed going to stay alive, and then her thing is going to proc, increasing her max HP. Like that, there's good combos with her. It's not only just Blanc, there's so many good combos with her, especially in PvP. There's so many good combos with her. Low burst gen hurts PvP team builds. It does, but I feel like they said with Biscuit, you should be fine, right? Biscuit and Noah especially, you should be fine, right? But that's like specific, so that's fine. Her protection is damage reduction, not healing like Noise. She might not be available to protect her team from constant AoE. Yeah, so I think a lot of people kept comparing her to Noise. It's different. I understand. Like, I think people most are comparing her to Noise more just because she's a tank, right? Like, she's a taunter with a burst 140-second cooldown, right? Which is also Noise. I think more people look at that rather than what's actually going on, right? Like, does that make sense? Like, if let me word it like this: if another burst 1 healer came out, but she was also on a 60-second cooldown, but her healing was far different from the way Rapunzel healed, people would compare her to Rapunzel because they're both 60-second burst 1s, not because of their skills, right? Hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say there, right? Damage is below expectation, making her lifesteal underwhelming too. I mean, yeah, you can't expect much. I mean, with Naga and Tia, she was doing pretty good damage, but with Naga and Tia, it's not a realistic team because Naga and Tia forces you to bring another burst 1. She's on a 40-second cooldown. It's just not gonna work, right? It's just not gonna work. But every other team, yeah, she doesn't do damage, but her taunt is really good. I'm glad that they didn't shaft her rankings though. I do agree with these rankings, right? Especially in PvP. I wouldn't go as far to say she's a triple S in PvP, obviously, because I would say people in triple S PvP are the characters that don't need anybody else. Does that make sense? Like, all Scarlet needs to do is use her AoE, everybody's dead. All Summer needs to do is use her burst skill, and everybody's dead, right? It's as simple as that, right? Hers is not like instant nuke, but she's going to kill, right? Because of her seconds, right? I feel like the characters that are, again, don't need anybody else are the characters who are going to be in the triple S tier, right? So Moran does technically still need other characters. She will work if you don't have characters like Noah and, you know, Biscuit. Obviously, I've done showcases of that not without Noah, but without Biscuit. I've done different teams with her, and yeah, she can work without these characters. But yeah, I think triple S would be outrageous for her, but double S is a perfectly fine tier for her as well. So let's take a look at some of their teams, right? Especially their PvP team. I guess this is all PvP based, right? So PvE content, burst 1. This is basically like for the train, I want to say, right? Because you're not using Sakura in anything but the train. So this is a team for the train. That's what I'm gonna assume, right? I mean, you could read this. Perhaps her best PvE team right now. Only recommended one that. Okay, so wait, best PvP team in general, right? Maybe this is for, I guess, train, and I don't know why you would use Sakura if you're not fighting like win code enemy. That's what I'm trying to say, right? If you're not fighting win code enemies, is it wind? Yeah, I think it's wind. If you're not fighting win code enemies, why would I use her? That's what I'm trying to get at, right? But let's take a look at her PvP since that's more where she's gonna be used. Her, Biscuit, Anish, Senti, and then a Flex. Okay, sure. Noah block AoE block. Yep. So this is my team, right? I run her, Noah, Biscuit, right? My burst 3, which is usually Summer and East, and then a Flex. I do have Jackal there just for the sheer damage and the debuff removal. There's that as well. Is it a debuff removal or is it buff removal? I believe it's a debuff removal. It is. I guess it's not her. I'm thinking of the character that counters her, which was the I'm thinking of another character. I forgot who it was, but she released recently. Not recently, but she was a character who released that countered Jackal. Who was it? Let me see. Mika? I don't think it was Mika. Mika's not the one I was thinking of, but sure. That's not who I was thinking of though. There was another character. And this is mainly my team though, the second team, the AoE block, because I feel like everybody's running Scarlet, right? Everybody's running Scarlet. That's what it is. So having Noah to block that is perfect. Once Scarlet uses their AoE and it's completely blocked because of Noah, then you guarantee win with this team, right? It's after that burst skill, they're not going to do much because Summer and East is just gonna kill everybody, right? That's the whole thing. It's not a nuke team with Summer Niece. It's just they're just gonna die if she uses her burst skill, right? Not through a nuke, but through actual damage. Moran shotgun team. Okay, shotgun burst flex, burst flex, burst flex. I mean, I wouldn't run this team personally, but yeah. Let's see. Should you summon though? Moran is one of the missing pieces to building the perfect electric team. Together with Summer Niece and Guillotine, she also sees a ton of usage in PvP and offers unique specialties that no other units can. If you care a lot about PvP or solo raid, one copy should suffice. Otherwise, you can save your wallet and wait for the next unit, which will most likely be a DPS, as it is coincided with solo raid, right? So yeah, which is the Privity. I wouldn't say to summon, only because you can get her off wishlist. Right? PvP, a lot of people don't do it. If you do it and you already had a PvP team that you feel like is much better, no point. But I do agree with the rankings. Their pros and cons I agree with. Their teams also I agree with, because these are teams I use, right? Is that the only reason why I agree with it? Because I use these teams? That'd be silly. But yeah, no, they're pretty spot on, right? They basically same thing that the community voted, right? That community post did end up getting 10,000 votes. As you guys see, it did end up getting actually 11,000 votes, right? A was where the majority of the community votes voted her for. And obviously, as you guys see, the average here would be A, right? A, B, A, S, S. Average would be A. So you guys let me know what you think. If you agree or if you don't agree. I agree. So I'm gonna, like, title's gonna be like spot on, right? You guys let me know what you think. I think it's pretty spot on. Let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous. I'm out. Peace. Subscribe.